What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Buzz. Gable Steveson continues to make waves in the MMA world as he remains undefeated and moves one step closer to his ultimate goal, earning a place in the UFC. On Sunday, Steveson was elevated to the main event of UFC 21st, the promotion owned and operated by former UFC champion Anthony Pettis. The Olympic gold medalist did not disappoint. Steveson delivered a stunning performance, needing only 24 seconds to secure a brutal knockout victory. From the moment the fight began, he showcased the same explosiveness, power, and athletic dominance that made him a world-class wrestler. His opponent had barely settled into his stance when Steveson exploded forward with precision striking, overwhelming him instantly. The referee stepped in quickly, signaling the end of the bout before Steveson had even broken a sweat. This win marks the second professional MMA victory of Steveson's career, pushing his record to 2-0-8. What's even more impressive is the fact that he has spent less than 2 total minutes inside the cage across both fights, demonstrating just how quickly he's adapting to the sport. His transition from Olympic wrestling to MMA has been highly anticipated, and each dominant performance only increases the excitement surrounding his potential UFC debut. Promoters, fans, and analysts are already speculating about his future matchups, and Anthony Pettis himself praised Steveson's work ethic and rapid evolution as a mixed martial artist. Steveson's combination of world-class wrestling, raw athleticism, and growing striking ability makes him one of the most intriguing heavyweight prospects in recent years. As he continues to build momentum, the MMA world watches closely. If Steveson keeps delivering finishes like this, it won't be long before he takes the next big step toward the UFC stage. When the announcer declared, "Your winner by knockout," it was merely confirmation of what everyone had just witnessed, a rising star proving once again that his journey in MMA is only just beginning. Before moving on to the next news, we have a quick request for you. We're always working to improve our content and truly value your support. If you could take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon, it would mean a lot to us. That way, you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. Nate Diaz has once again stirred up the MMA world, this time by openly challenging Islam Makhachev's status as the UFC's #1 pound-for-pound fighter. During a recent appearance on Neon's livestream alongside Jake Shields, Diaz was asked who he considers the best pound-for-pound athlete in the UFC today. Despite Islam holding the UFC's official top spot, Diaz made it clear that he doesn't believe Makhachev has earned that recognition. According to Diaz, Islam hasn't been in the game long enough, nor has he defeated anyone he considers truly elite. Diaz doubled down by calling Makhachev a boring fighter and argued that Ilia Topuria is a far more complete and dangerous competitor at this stage of their careers. When the host asked again who he believed deserved the #1 position, Diaz immediately named Jon Jones, describing him as an legend. Diaz emphasized that Jones has dominated across multiple eras, fought the best fighters, and built a legacy that spans far beyond what Islam has accomplished so far. He noted that Jones' longevity, resume, and impact make him the obvious choice in the pound-for-pound discussion. When pressed specifically about Islam, Diaz criticized the way the UFC throws names out there too quickly. He argued that Makhachev has been elevated to the top spot after only a short reign and without beating opponents on the level of past greats like BJ Penn, Georges St. Pierre, or Matt Hughes. Diaz pointed out that true pound-for-pound greatness comes from years of proving yourself against the toughest competition, not just a few strong performances. He referenced BJ Penn's historic run, reminding viewers that Penn fought and defeated legends, moved up weight classes, and created unforgettable moments. Diaz compared that legacy to Makhachev's current resume and said the two don't even match. Diaz insisted he isn't hating, even though some fans may interpret it that way. Instead, he claimed he simply hasn't seen anything from Isle that rises to the level of the all-time greats. He added that most of Islam's recent performances were repetitive and uninspiring, saying he found himself getting bored watching them. Move on to another news. Tsarukyan has fired back strongly at Ilia Topuria after a new video surfaced contradicting Ilia's claim that he slapped Arman during their backstage encounter following last night's event. The footage shows the two fighters coming face to face, but the interaction appeared far more calm and almost friendly compared to the hostile narrative Topuria pushed online. Despite the tension surrounding their rivalry, the video revealed a measured exchange without anything resembling the slap Ilia boasted about. Topuria posted the clip on his social media with a provocative caption aimed directly at Arman. "Arman, every time we see each other in person, you freeze up like a scared duck with no idea what to do," he wrote. He continued by asserting Sarukian dominance, claiming, "You know I handle you however I want. I fight whoever the UFC chooses. And remember, I slapped you and you just laughed. Then you go around acting like a gangster. So keep going. You're on the right path. Just a few levels below me, kid." Topuria's message was intended to belittle Arman and frame himself as the clear superior in their rivalry. However, Tsarukyan quickly responded and dismissed Ilya's version of events completely. Taking to social media, Arman called the slap claim pure fabrication. "Bro, you touched my neck like we were taking a family photo, and now you're calling it a slap online," Arman wrote, highlighting the discrepancy between the footage and Ilya's bravado. He emphasized that the video clearly shows no aggression, and he pointed out that Ilya's insecurity is more obvious than ever. Tsarukyan added that he doesn't need to posture or pretend for social media, insisting that his real work is done inside the octagon, where it actually matters. He ended his message with a pointed challenge, stating, "If you want to know what a real slap feels like, I'll be happy to educate you." The exchange has reignited tension between two of the UFC's rising stars, and fueled speculation about whether their heated rivalry could eventually lead to an official showdown inside the cage. For now, both men are making it clear, this conflict is far from over, and the next time they meet might not be so cordial. Move on to another news. Sean O'Malley says he does not believe the UFC will book Arman Tsarukyan versus Ilia Topuria anytime soon. In a recent video on his YouTube channel, O'Malley reacted to Arman's dominant win over Dan Hooker and discussed what he thinks could realistically be next for the lightweight contender. According to O'Malley, even though Arman continues to prove himself as one of the most dangerous fighters in the division, the UFC might avoid pairing him with Topuria. He believes the promotion sees Ilya as a long-term star and may prefer to protect his championship reign rather than risk him facing a stylistic nightmare like Tsarukyan. O'Malley explained that Arman is no joke and that the matchup between Tsarukyan and Topuria would be incredibly compelling. However, from a business standpoint, he suspects the UFC would be hesitant to make the fight. In his view, Ilya is a great champion, highly marketable, and someone the organization seems invested in. Matching him with Arman, who has a very real chance of beating him, might not align with the UFC's current plans. Despite giving Topuria credit for his power and knockout ability, O'Malley acknowledged that if anyone at 155 pounds has a legitimate chance of defeating him, is Arman Tsarukyan. He emphasized that Tsarukyan's skill set, wrestling pressure, and rapid improvement make him one of the toughest matchups for the featherweight champion moving up. O'Malley admitted it was surprising even to hear himself say that Topuria might knock Arman out, but he reiterated that the possibility goes both ways. Arman is a serious threat, and because of that, O'Malley doubts the UFC will take the risk of booking the fight anytime soon. Move on to another news. Max Holloway recently criticized Arman Tsarukyan for his actions during the UFC Qatar weigh-ins, where Tsarukyan appeared to headbutt Dan Hooker. The moment sparked outrage among fans and analysts, with many pointing out that the incident could have jeopardized the entire fight if Hooker had been injured. During a live stream, Holloway expressed strong disapproval, calling Tsarukyan's behavior really stupid. He emphasized that fighters are not paid for weigh-ins, and risking a fight over a moment of emotion is irresponsible. According to Holloway, injuring an opponent before the fight could cost both athletes their paychecks and destroy months of preparation. He suggested that Tsarukyan let his emotions get the best of him, leading to a reckless decision that could have had serious consequences. Holloway didn't hold back, stating that losing a fight purse because of a heated moment is simply not worth it. He stressed that a fighter's job is to show up, make weight, and perform inside the cage, not endanger the event during face-offs. In a separate appearance on the Korean Zombies podcast, Holloway addressed critics who questioned his boxing skills after his knockout loss to Ilia Topuria. Despite the defeat, Holloway insisted he still believes he is the best boxer in the UFC. He explained that outside opinions do not affect his self-belief, and that confidence is a crucial part of being an elite fighter. Holloway said many online critics hide behind fake profiles and anonymous usernames, and their opinions carry no weight. He noted that he replies to some comments simply because he finds it entertaining, not because they influence his mindset. For him, maintaining self-confidence is essential, and he continues to see himself as one of the best fighters in the world regardless of public criticism. Move on to another news. Robert Whitaker recently shared his thoughts on a hypothetical matchup between Islam Makhachev and a prime Georges St. Pierre. Despite GSP being widely regarded as the greatest welterweight of all time and a former two-division UFC champion, Whitaker believes Makhachev would be the one to win. Speaking on his MMA Arcade podcast, Whitaker broke down both fighters' styles and explained why he thinks Makhachev's skill set would give him the edge. He acknowledged that the matchup is extremely difficult to predict, especially at welterweight, because both fighters are exceptionally well-rounded and intelligent inside the cage. Whitaker praised GSP's versatile approach, describing him as a springy karate-style athlete who mixes striking, takedowns, scrambles, and jiu-jitsu at an elite level. He noted that GSP's strength was his ability to use the full MMA toolbox, wrestling to force opponents to react, striking when they feared the takedown, then mixing everything together seamlessly. However, Whitaker explained that if the fight turned into a scramble-heavy or wrestling-dominant battle, Makhachev would likely come out on top. In his view, Islam is built for those exchanges in a way very few fighters are. His grappling pressure, chain wrestling, and top control would make it extremely difficult for GSP to regain position once taken down. According to Whitaker, while GSP used his wrestling to return the fight to the feet and outbox opponents who became hesitant, Makhachev operates with a different level of suffocating control. "Islam will get you down," Whitaker said, "and you're not getting back up." Whitaker concluded that although GSP's overall mixed martial arts skill set is one of the most complete in history, Makhachev's dominance in grappling exchanges and his ability to dictate where the fight takes place would give him the advantage in a theoretical clash between two all-time greats. Move on to another news. Islam Makhachev returned home to Dagestan on Sunday following his UFC 322 victory over Jack Della Maddalena. Speaking to local media at the airport, the newly crowned welterweight champion discussed several potential opponents for his first title defense and addressed Ian Gary's recent call-out. Makhachev made it clear he wasn't impressed with Gary's latest performance, saying that while the Irish contender has been vocal, his showing over the weekend didn't convince him. However, he didn't dismiss the matchup entirely, indicating that if the UFC wants the fight, he is willing to consider it. Makhachev emphasized that Gary still needs to prove he can compete with the division's elite before stepping into a title bout. He also mentioned Shavkat Rakhmonov as a more compelling option. Makhachev expressed openness to defending his title against the undefeated Kazakh contender, acknowledging his high skill level and danger as an opponent. However, he added that the UFC may hesitate to grant Rakhmonov a title shot due to his recent inactivity. Still, Makhachev stated he would accept that fight without hesitation if the promotion presented it. Inevitably, the conversation turned to the possibility of a super fight with featherweight champion Ilia Topuria. Makhachev said that such a matchup would only happen under the right circumstances and with a strong offer from the UFC. He made it clear that he has no intention of cutting to 155 pounds again unless the deal is significant enough to justify the challenge. For now, Makhachev appears focused, composed, and ready for whichever opponent the UFC designates next. Whether it's Gary, Rakhmonov, or a high-profile crossover bout with Topuria, the champion made one thing clear: he is prepared, confident, and willing to face anyone as long as the circumstances make sense. Move on to another news. Conor McGregor has announced his return after undergoing what he describes as a life-changing psychedelic treatment in Mexico. In a detailed statement shared on X, the former UFC champion revealed that he recently traveled to Tijuana to undergo ibogaine therapy at Ambio, a facility featured in the new Netflix documentary, In Waves and War. He said the treatment was administered by forward-thinking doctors he met through Stanford University and was designed to address deep personal trauma. McGregor wrote that the experience was intense, spiritual, and transformative. According to him, he was confronted with a vivid vision of his own death, how soon it could have occurred, and how it would have affected his children. He described seeing himself from above as the moment unfolded, and then viewing the world from inside a coffin. He went on to say that in this near-death vision, he experienced what he believes was a divine encounter. McGregor claimed that God, represented as the Holy Trinity along with Jesus, Mary, and a host of archangels, appeared to him. He described Jesus descending white marble steps to anoint him with a crown, signifying that he had been saved. He said the experience healed his mind, heart, and soul. McGregor stated that he remained under the effects of the treatment for 36 hours before finally resting. When he awoke, he felt like himself again, calling the process the most enlightening and powerful experience of his life. He credited it with saving not only his life, but also his family's future. He expressed gratitude toward those who supported him through his struggles, and thanked fans for their encouragement and prayers. McGregor said he now feels renewed, like a child again, but with the wisdom of adulthood, and is ready for a new chapter. In closing, he thanked God for what he believes was a divine blessing, and vowed to live his life according to faith, writing, "I am yours." He signed the message proudly as "Your great-grandson, Conor McGregor," promising that the world is in for a treat as he begins this new journey.